In a galaxy filled with dazzling stars, there was a small star named Luma. She lived at the very edge of the Milky Way, where the starlight was quieter and the nights seemed longer. Luma's light was faint and soft, a whisper of a glow compared to the bright, sparkling stars around her. Every evening, as the sky turned deep blue and the stars awakened, Luma would watch in awe as her neighbor shone brightly. The grandest star of them all, Orion, loved to show off his sparkling belt, while Vega and Sirius twinkled so brilliantly they seemed to dance. Luma tried to join them, squeezing her tiny rays of light into a twinkle, but no matter how hard she tried, her glow stayed small. "Why can't I be like them?" she sighed to herself. One night, as the stars prepared to light up the sky, Luma sat quietly, her glow dimmer than ever. She didn't feel like trying anymore. The moon, who had watched over the stars for countless centuries, noticed Luma's sadness. His round face glowed softly as he drifted closer to her. "Why so glum, little star?" he asked, his voice as gentle as the night wind. "I'll never be bright enough to matter," Luma whispered. "No one will ever notice my light." The moon tilted his head thoughtfully. "Every star has its own purpose, Luma. Even the smallest glow can brighten the darkest of places. Perhaps you just haven't found what makes your light special yet. But how will I find it?" Luma asked, her tiny light flickering with uncertainty. "Start by watching and listening," the moon advised. "The universe has a way of guiding those who are willing to learn." Encouraged by the moon's words, Luma decided she would give it one more try. That night, as she twinkled faintly in the sky, she noticed something moving far below, a tiny bird flying alone through the dark. The bird seemed lost, its wings flapping wearily as it searched the endless night. Luma leaned closer, her soft light glowing just a little brighter. "Hello down there," she called. Startled, the bird looked up and saw Luma's gentle light. "Who's there?" "It's just me," Luma said shyly. "Are you lost?" The bird nodded. "Yes, I got separated from my flock. The dark feels so endless, and I don't know where to go." Moved by the bird's plight, Luma decided to guide her. She shone as brightly as she could, casting a faint but steady light over the sky. "Follow my glow," she said. The bird flapped her wings and followed Luma's light until, in the distance, the outlines of her flock appeared. "You saved me," the bird said, her voice full of gratitude. "Your light was just what I needed." Luma's glow flickered with surprise. "Really? But I'm not very bright." The bird smiled. "Sometimes, all you need is a gentle glow to find your way." As the bird rejoined her flock and the moon smiled approvingly, Luma realized something for the first time. Her light had made a difference. That night, as she settled into her corner of the sky, Luma's heart felt a little fuller. Maybe the moon was right. Maybe even a small star like her had a place in the grand story of the universe. And so, Luma's journey to discover her unique light had begun. Luma's glow had never felt warmer than it did after helping the little bird. She watched the flock disappear into the horizon and felt a flicker of pride. Maybe, just maybe, her light wasn't as useless as she'd thought. The next evening, as the stars began to awaken, Luma was eager to see what the night might bring. She gazed down at the world below, her light soft and curious. The moon, passing by on his nightly patrol, gave her an encouraging nod. "Remember, Luma," he said with a smile, "every night brings a new chance to shine." As the hours passed, the world below grew quieter. But then, deep in the shadows of a forest, Luma noticed movement. A small family of foxes padded softly through the trees. The two kits, playful but timid, stuck close to their mother, their eyes wide with fear. "What's happening down there?" Luma wondered aloud, leaning closer to see. The fox mother paused, sniffing the air nervously. She glanced back at her kits and murmured, "Stay close, little ones. The forest is dark tonight, and we must find the way back to our den before the wolves wake." Luma's tiny heart fluttered. She could see the forest paths winding like a maze, and she knew the fox family was lost. The towering trees blocked the moonlight, leaving the forest floor shrouded in shadow. What if I could help them? Luma thought. But doubt crept in almost immediately. I'm so small. What if my light isn't strong enough to guide them? She remembered the bird's words from the night before. Sometimes, all you need is a gentle glow to find your way. Gathering her courage, Luma focused on the forest below. She wiggled and shimmered, pouring every bit of her glow into the canopy. Her light stretched through the gaps in the trees, casting a faint but steady glow on the path ahead. The fox mother noticed the soft light and froze. "What's this?" she murmured, tilting her head. The kits squeaked in awe. "It's a star, Mama. It's lighting the way." Though cautious, the mother fox trusted the strange light. Step by step, she led her kits down the glowing path. Luma watched anxiously, adjusting her shine to illuminate every twist and turn in the trail. Finally, the fox family reached the safety of their den. The kits tumbled inside, tails wagging with relief. The mother fox turned her gaze skyward, her eyes meeting Luma's glow. "Thank you, little star," she whispered. "Your light was a gift tonight." Luma's glow flickered with joy. She felt something she hadn't felt before, a sense of purpose. The moon drifted closer, his gentle face beaming with pride. "You're learning, Luma. The size of your light doesn't matter. What matters is how you use it." As the fox family settled in for the night, Luma stayed awake a little longer, gazing down at the quiet forest. She no longer felt like the smallest, dimmest star in the sky. She felt like a guide, a helper, a friend to the creatures below. But deep in her heart, Luma knew this was only the beginning of her journey. There was still so much more to discover about her light and the universe around her. The nights had grown colder, and the wind danced wildly across the earth, rustling the leaves and making waves ripple across the oceans. Luma loved watching the wind's playful energy from above, but tonight, something was different. As she shone softly in her corner of the sky, Luma noticed a strange pattern in the wind's movements. Instead of swirling freely, it seemed restless, darting back and forth without rhythm. "What's wrong, wind?" Luma called out, her soft voice carrying through the night. The wind paused for a moment, its presence brushing against the trees below and making them sway. "Who speaks to me?" it asked, its voice airy and uncertain. "It's me, Luma," she said, glowing faintly. "I'm a little star up here in the sky. You seem troubled." The wind sighed, a sound that whistled through the mountains. "I've lost my way," it admitted. "I was carrying whispers from one valley to another, but the night grew dark, and now I can't remember where I'm supposed to go." Luma tilted slightly, her glow flickering with concern. "Is there something important in the whispers you carry?" "Yes," the wind said solemnly. "The leaves of the great tree must hear these whispers by dawn, or they won't know when to bloom. Without me, the valley will miss the start of spring." The thought of an entire valley left in endless winter sent a shiver through Luma's light. She wanted to help, but how could a small star guide the restless wind? She gazed down at the earth, thinking hard. The valleys and forests looked like dark, shadowy shapes from her place in the sky. But then she noticed something, a faint silver stream winding its way through the landscape. "The river." "Wind, do you see the river below?" Luma asked. The wind swirled closer to the ground, its presence rippling across the water's surface. "I do," it said. "Follow its path," Luma urged. "It flows straight to the valley where the great tree stands. I'll guide you from above and light your way whenever the river bends or twists." The wind hesitated. "Can your small light truly guide me across such a long journey?" Luma smiled faintly. "Trust me, we'll make it together." The wind agreed, and together they set off. Luma shone her soft light over the river, illuminating its curves and bends. Whenever the wind grew uncertain or veered off course, Luma would glow a little brighter, calling it back to the shimmering path below. The journey wasn't easy. Clouds drifted across the sky, threatening to hide Luma's light, and the wind occasionally became distracted, chasing stray leaves. But Luma stayed patient and steady, her glow unwavering. Finally, just as the first hints of dawn began to brush the horizon, the wind reached the great tree. Its mighty branches stretched toward the sky, waiting for the whispers of spring. The wind carried the message carefully, weaving between the branches and rustling the leaves. As the whispers spread, the tree began to stir. Tiny buds appeared along its branches, and soon, the valley was alive with the promise of new life. The wind swirled upward, carrying its thanks back to Luma. "I couldn't have done it without you," it said. "Your light is stronger than I imagined." Luma glowed softly, her heart full. "I'm glad I could help. Spring belongs to everyone." As the dawn broke and her light faded, Luma felt a quiet pride. She wasn't just a small star anymore. She was a guide, a helper, and a friend to the wind, the earth, and everything in between. But as the sky turned blue, Luma wondered what new challenges the night might bring. She was ready to keep learning and shining, one step at a time. As the nights grew warmer, Luma found herself glowing with more confidence. She had helped a lost bird, guided a family of foxes, and even led the wandering wind to its destination. Each night, she eagerly scanned the world below, ready to lend her light to anyone in need. One evening, as the stars took their places in the sky, Luma noticed a faint flicker of light on the ground. It wasn't a star, nor was it fire. Curious, she leaned closer, focusing her glow on the small patch of land. There, in a quiet village nestled between the hills, stood an old lantern hanging from a crooked post. Its flames sputtered weakly, barely visible in the dark. "Why is your light so faint?" Luma called softly. The lantern looked up, startled by the voice. "Who's there?" "It's me, Luma," the little star said. "I'm up here in the sky. I noticed your flame was struggling." The lantern sighed, its glass rattling slightly. "I've been here for so many years, lighting the path for travelers. But now, my wick is nearly gone, and my oil is running out. Soon, I'll go out completely, and no one will be able to find their way through the village." Luma's heart ached for the tired lantern. "That's terrible. Isn't there anyone who can help you?" "The villagers used to care for me," the lantern replied, its voice weary. "But over time they forgot. They don't need me anymore. They have brighter lights now. I'm too old and dim to matter." Luma thought for a moment. "Maybe I can help," she said. "You? But you're just a tiny star," the lantern said doubtfully. "My light may be small, but it's steady," Luma said with determination. "I'll shine for you tonight, so the travelers can still find their way." The lantern hesitated. "Why would you do that for me?" "Because no one should feel forgotten," Luma said simply. With that, Luma turned her glow toward the village, focusing her light on the path where the lantern hung. It wasn't easy. She had to concentrate hard to shine directly on the darkened road. Her light wasn't as strong as the lantern's flame had once been, but it was enough to cast a faint glow over the path. As the night wore on, a group of travelers approached the village, their steps hesitant in the dark. They noticed the soft light guiding them and quickened their pace. "Look, someone's lit the way for us," one of them said, pointing to the glowing path. The lantern watched in amazement as the travelers safely passed through the village, following Luma's gentle glow. "Thank you," the lantern whispered. "I thought my purpose was gone, but you reminded me that even the faintest light can still help someone." "You're not forgotten," Luma said. "Tomorrow, when the sun rises, I'll make sure the villagers remember you too." "How will you do that?" the lantern asked, its voice filled with wonder. "You'll see," Luma replied with a soft twinkle. The next morning, as the villagers awoke, Luma's words lingered in the quiet air. A bright beam of sunlight fell directly onto the old lantern, making its worn glass sparkle like a jewel. The villagers stopped to admire it, remembering the many nights it had guided them home. By evening, they had replaced the lantern's wick and refilled its oil. Its flame burned brightly once more, joining Luma in lighting the path. "Thank you, little star," the lantern said that night. "I'll never forget your kindness." Luma glowed happily. She might be small, but she had helped the lantern rediscover its purpose, and reminded the villagers of the value of even the simplest lights. As she looked across the sky, Luma felt ready for whatever new adventure the night might bring. One quiet evening, as the stars settled into their nightly dance, Luma noticed a thick, gray cloud drifting slowly across the sky. It seemed heavier than most clouds, its edges drooping like it carried a great weight. "Hello, cloud," Luma called gently. The cloud stopped, its misty edges curling in surprise. "Who's there?" it rumbled. "It's me, Luma," the little star said, glowing faintly. "You look tired. Is something wrong?" The cloud let out a long, low sigh that sent a cool breeze sweeping over the earth below. "I'm carrying too much," it admitted. "For days, I've been holding all this rain, but I'm afraid to let it fall. What if it ruins the fields or frightens the animals?" Luma blinked thoughtfully. "But clouds are meant to bring rain. Without it, the earth can't grow, and the rivers can't flow. Why are you so afraid?" "I once rained too hard," the cloud confessed. "I flooded a valley, and the people were angry with me. Since then, I've been scared of making a mistake. What if I do it again?" Luma's glow flickered with sympathy. She understood what it felt like to doubt yourself. "Maybe you just need a little help," Luma said. The cloud's mist swirled uncertainly. "What can a tiny star like you do?" "I can guide you," Luma offered. "We'll find a place where your rain will be needed and appreciated. Then you can let it fall gently, little by little." The cloud hesitated, but eventually agreed. "All right, Luma. I'll trust you." Luma scanned the earth below, her soft light searching for the perfect spot. She noticed a dry meadow where the grass was brittle and the flowers wilted. Animals gathered near a shrinking pond, their eyes full of hope for water. "Over there," Luma said, shining her light on the meadow. "That's where your rain is needed most." The cloud drifted closer, peering down at the dry land. "But what if I'm still too heavy?" it asked nervously. "Start small," Luma encouraged. "A few drops at first. Let the meadow tell you when it's enough." Taking a deep breath, the cloud released a gentle sprinkle of rain. The first drops kissed the grass, and the meadow seemed to sigh with relief. Encouraged, the cloud let the rain fall a little more. The flowers lifted their heads, and the animals came out from their hiding places to drink from the filling pond. "Look," Luma said with excitement. "You're helping the meadow come back to life." The cloud swirled with joy as it rained softly over the land. Its heavy weight began to lighten, and for the first time in days, it felt free. As the meadow grew greener and the pond rippled with fresh water, the cloud's rain slowed to a gentle mist. "Thank you, Luma," the cloud said. "I never thought my rain could be a gift again." "You just needed to trust yourself," Luma said, glowing warmly. "Your rain is part of the balance of the world." The cloud smiled, its edges curling happily. "If I ever feel unsure again, I'll remember your light." As the cloud drifted away, light as a feather, Luma felt a new kind of pride. She had helped the cloud find its courage and watched as the earth below blossomed because of it. As the stars twinkled around her, Luma wondered what new lessons and adventures awaited her in the nights to come. The night was unusually still. The stars twinkled brightly, and the moon cast its soft silver glow over the earth. Luma was shining gently in her corner of the sky when she noticed something strange below, a shadow moving across the land, even though there was no light to cast it. Curious, Luma called out, "Hello? Who are you?" The shadow paused, stretching and curling like smoke. "I am a shadow," it said hesitantly. "But why are you wandering all alone?" Luma asked. "Shadows usually belong to something." The shadow's form wavered, as if unsure of itself. "I don't know where I belong," it admitted. "I was left behind when my person moved away. Now I have no one to follow." Luma's glow flickered with concern. She had never met a shadow without a home before. "Don't you have a place to rest?" she asked. The shadow shook its wispy edges. "I've tried hiding under trees and stretching across the hills, but it doesn't feel the same. Without a person to follow, I feel incomplete." Luma thought carefully. Maybe I can help you find your place again. How? The shadow asked, its voice a whisper on the wind. I'll shine my light to guide you, Luma said. We'll search the world together until we find where you belong. The shadow hesitated, but finally agreed. All right, little star. Lead the way. Luma began to glow a bit brighter, casting her soft light over the landscape. The shadow followed, sliding across fields and forests, its dark form gliding silently behind Luma's glow. As they traveled, Luma noticed a small child sitting alone by a campfire in a clearing. The child's head hung low, and their shoulders slumped with sadness. What's wrong with that child? Luma wondered aloud. The shadow glanced at the child and paused. I think that's the one I used to follow, it said, its voice trembling. Luma's light grew warmer. Go to them, she urged. They've missed you as much as you've missed them. The shadow hesitated. What if they don't want me anymore? What if they've forgotten me? Shadows are like friends, Luma said gently. Even if time passes, the bond remains. Go and see. Gathering its courage, the shadow slid closer to the child. As the firelight flickered, the child noticed the shadow stretching beside them. Is that my shadow? The child murmured, their eyes lighting up. They reached out, their fingers brushing the ground where the shadow rested. You came back. The shadow swirled with joy, wrapping itself protectively around the child. I was lost, but now I'm home, it whispered. The child smiled, their sadness fading. With their shadow beside them, they felt whole again. Luma watched from above, her glow soft and content. She had brought two lost souls back together, and the sight warmed her tiny heart. As the night grew deeper, the child and their shadow played in the flickering firelight, their laughter reaching Luma in the sky. Thank you, little star, the shadow called up. I'll never forget your light. You're welcome, Luma said, her glow twinkling happily. As the moon rose higher and the night stretched on, Luma felt a quiet pride. She was discovering that her light didn't just guide, it healed, bringing hope to those who had lost their way. But she also knew her journey wasn't over. The universe was vast, and there were still so many others who might need her gentle glow. The sky was alive with twinkling lights, each star shining in its unique way. Luma, nestled in her quiet corner, admired her neighbors. She had grown more confident in her glow, knowing it could make a difference to those below. But tonight, something unusual caught her attention. A cluster of stars far away seemed to be flickering strangely, their light dimming and brightening in irregular patterns. It wasn't the usual playful twinkling of the stars she knew. It seemed like they were whispering. Hello, Luma called out, her soft glow reaching toward the distant cluster. Is something wrong? At first, there was no reply. Then, one of the stars flickered faintly. Little star, can you hear us? Yes, Luma said eagerly. What's happening? Our light is fading, another star whispered. We've been shining for so long, but we're tired now. We fear we may disappear entirely, leaving the sky empty. Luma's glow dimmed in sympathy. That sounds so sad. But why would your light disappear? It's the way of stars, the first one replied gently. When we've given all we can, we grow dim and fade. It is our time, but we wish to leave something behind, a gift for the sky, so the night doesn't feel empty. Luma thought carefully. She didn't want to see these stars vanish without a trace. Then, an idea sparked in her. What if I help you? She asked. How can you help us, little star? The cluster asked, their voices soft but curious. I'll gather your light, Luma said. I'll shine for you, carrying your glow so that it continues to brighten the sky even after you're gone. The stars flickered with surprise and gratitude. You would do that for us? Of course, Luma said. Your light has inspired me and so many others. It shouldn't just vanish. It should live on in the sky forever. The cluster of stars agreed, and together they began to focus their remaining energy. One by one, they sent tiny sparks of their light toward Luma, their whispers turning into soft songs that echoed through the night. As the sparks reached her, Luma's glow began to change. Her light, once soft and faint, now shimmered with new hues: silver, gold, and deep blue, like the stars she was carrying within her. "You're beautiful," one of the fading stars said, its voice filled with warmth. "Now, a part of us will always remain in the sky." Luma beamed, her heart full of emotion. "Thank you for trusting me with your light. I'll keep it safe." One by one, the whispering stars grew dim until their light faded entirely. The night grew quieter, but Luma's glow was stronger than ever, a living memory of the stars that had come before. The moon drifted closer, his face full of pride. "You've done something extraordinary tonight, Luma," he said. "You've become a keeper of stories, a reminder that even when stars fade, their light can still shine in new ways." Luma felt both proud and humbled. She realized her light wasn't just her own anymore. It carried the legacy of those who had come before her. As the dawn approached, Luma watched the horizon, her glow steady and bright. She knew the universe was vast and ever-changing, but she also knew that she had become part of something greater. And with each new night, she would carry the whispers of the stars, shining not just for herself, but for all those who looked to the sky for hope and wonder. The night sky was quiet but full of possibilities. Luma, now shining brighter than she ever thought possible, carried the memories of stars that had faded and the stories of those she had helped. She felt proud of her journey, but deep inside, she sensed there was one last task waiting for her. As the stars twinkled around her, Luma noticed something unusual on the horizon. A thick veil of darkness stretched across a part of the sky, darker than the deepest shadow. No stars shone there, no moonlight reached it. It was simply empty. "What is that place?" Luma wondered aloud. The moon drifted closer, his silver glow soft but serious. "That is the void," he explained. "It's a place where light has never reached. Many stars have tried to illuminate it, but none have succeeded. It's said to be endless and impossible to brighten." Luma's glow flickered. "Why does the void exist?" "Perhaps it exists to remind us of what light can overcome," the moon said. "But it's also a mystery. No one truly knows what lies within." Luma stared at the void, her heart stirring with a mixture of fear and determination. "I want to try," she said. The moon's glow wavered. "Are you sure? You're just one little star. What if the void swallows your light?" Luma's glow grew steadier. "I've learned that even the smallest light can make a difference. If I don't try, I'll never know what's possible." The moon nodded solemnly. "Then go, brave little star. Shine with all your heart." Luma gathered all the light within her, her own soft glow, the sparks of the whispering stars, and the warmth of the memories she carried. She drifted closer to the void, her light growing brighter with every step. At first, the darkness seemed impenetrable. Luma's glow barely pushed through it, and the weight of the shadows pressed against her. But she refused to give up. She thought of the birds she had guided, the foxes she had helped, the wind she had encouraged, and the stars whose light she now carried. With each thought, her glow grew stronger. "The light isn't just mine," she whispered. "It's the light of everyone I've helped. It's the light of hope." As she pushed deeper into the void, something incredible happened. The darkness began to thin, giving way to soft, shimmering colors that had never been seen before, hues of violet, gold, and silver that danced like the auroras. The void wasn't empty after all. It was full of hidden beauty, waiting to be illuminated. The other stars watched in awe as Luma's light spread through the void, revealing its secrets. The darkness didn't swallow her light. Instead, it embraced it, becoming a canvas for her glow. When Luma finally emerged, her light was softer but richer, like the glow of a sunrise after a long night. "You did it," the moon said, his voice full of wonder. "You've brought light to the darkest place in the sky." Luma twinkled gently. The void wasn't empty. It just needed someone to see its beauty. From that night on, Luma's glow became a symbol of courage, kindness, and the power of even the smallest light to overcome the greatest darkness. The stars around her shone a little brighter, inspired by her journey. The moral of the story: no matter how small or insignificant you feel, your light has the power to make a difference. Kindness, courage, and hope can illuminate even the darkest corners of the world. You don't have to be the brightest star to bring change. You just have to shine in your own way. If you enjoyed Luma's story, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Tell us in the comments, what's one way you can share your light with the world? Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story. And remember, no matter how small you feel, your light matters. Keep shining.